でしげる、さっき言ってた目的って？
伝説のポケモンファイヤーさ。
ファイヤー
Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokémon Journeys episode 67, Pikachu the Suspect. Or was it supposed to be Suspect Pikachu? Either way, this was the 1152nd episode of the Pokemon anime. It may have been complete filler, but at least the preview for next week was super exciting, so I can't wait to talk about that. Oh yeah, I got new trainer art, if you couldn't already tell from the new profile picture and everything else. Shout out to Glazed for hooking me up with an improved, more personalized version of Hilbert for me to use. The episode gets started bright and early at the Cerise lab, and Officer Jenny and this guy, what was his name again? Oh yeah, Detective Decker. They want to investigate something, and they get all of the electric-type Pokemon in a police lineup. It was cool to see Go's Arctozold for the first time in a while, and it actually surprised me that these were the only electric types at the Cerise Park. For some reason I thought there were more. Imagine if Go had caught Zapdos, that had to be in the lineup too. So basically, this detective guy thinks Pikachu was the culprit for some crime, but no one really believes him. He arrests Pikachu, but they don't take it very seriously. Their evidence for this is a sketch of this Pokemon that they think is stealing electricity from people in Vermilion City, which is clearly Morpeko, but with a more Pikachu-shaped tail. Detective Decker brings Pikachu in for an interrogation, and I don't know, I just thought the first half or so of this episode was really boring. They were clearly playing off of old detective movie tropes, but that didn't really do anything for me. It was interesting when Officer Jenny said that she knew Ash and Pikachu and believed they were innocent. We don't usually get that kind of basic recognition about Ash, despite the fact that he really should be famous. The lights start to flicker, and Pikachu senses an electric shift or something like that, and they run out of the police station in hopes that they can find an actual electricity thief. They don't find the thief, but this incident does clear Pikachu's name from the case. Of course, the next logical thing that happens is that Ash and Pikachu go from suspects to actually assisting Jenny on the case. Why wouldn't that happen? Ash and Go are excited to play the heroic role of policemen, but they immediately get sidetracked by some random events happening in Vermilion City that require Officer Jenny's assistance. And wait, what is that? Bingo! Well, okay, not actually bingo, but we do get to check something off the bingo card because I am counting this next scene as the opening theme playing ironically. This is a little subjective, but I get to make the official rulings around here. It is my bingo card after all, and considering this epic police montage was, well, not epic in the slightest, I'm calling this an ironic use of the opening theme. On the plus side, I thought the episode had really been slow up to this point, so at least this bit sparked some life back into it. It was pretty funny when these teenagers got pulled over for speeding on a Dodrio. That reminds me of the time I got pulled over for... Anyways, back to the episode. And after they miss another chance to catch the electricity thief, Go suggests that they camp out at a house filled with electricity in the hopes that they lure the thief straight to them. And since it was Go's idea, he gets to pick the house they use, and he chooses his only friend in Vermilion City, Chloe, and they decide to use the Cerise household for this mission. Pikachu fills the place with electricity, much to the discomfort of the Cerises, and for some reason, now is the first time anyone stops to consider what Pokemon might actually be in the police sketch, since it's obviously not Pikachu. The nice timing doesn't stop there, as the very obvious culprits, Team Rocket, show up looking very malnourished. We get the kind of redundant backstory about how Morpeko ate them out of their food again, and Jesse's wild idea was to try and feed Morpeko electricity so it stops eating their food. They start stealing the electricity from the Cerise house, but of course Morpeko has already snuck inside to steal itself some food, which basically outs itself as the real thief. Everyone confronts Team Rocket, so they try and get away in an action-packed police chase. The scene immediately made me think of using Grand Theft Pokemon as the title for this review. I don't know if I'll actually end up using that or not, but I thought it was funny. Just when Team Rocket are about to get away with their plan, they realize that Morpeko doesn't actually eat electricity, something that their snarky Pokedex only tells them right now. Everyone else shows up, Pikachu absorbs the leftover electricity that Team Rocket stole and goes Super Saiyan, and Team Rocket get blasted off again before they could even get arrested. Pikachu is awarded some certificate for helping solve the crime, and today's filler episode comes to an end with everyone happy about a case closed and a job well done, despite the fact that they never actually arrested the criminals for this case. I'm giving this episode a 4 out of 10 rating. Whoa, okay, that's my first rating below a 5 for quite a while. And yeah, to be honest, I just wasn't feeling this episode very much. I think filler episodes can be so subjective in how each person reacts to it, so if you really enjoy this episode, good, don't let me rain on your parade. I think there were some positives about this episode, but in general, I just thought it was slow and really predictable. Maybe I feel this way partially because I'm a little burnt out from so much filler lately. I mean, I really enjoyed that Plusle and Minun episode from a while back, but was that really much better than this episode? I think most of my opinion about any episode like this one comes down to the plot and any characters of the day. I mentioned earlier that the plot about this whole detective stuff wasn't that appealing to me, and of course we already knew exactly how this episode was going to play out as soon as we saw the Morpeko sketch in the preview last week. Adding on to that, I didn't think Detective Decker was a very good character of the day. He wasn't funny to me, and him being an idiot wasn't really that entertaining either. I don't know, I mean, they even stopped him from calling Pikachu Detective Pikachu right at the end, which seemed like a pretty unnecessary thing to do in my opinion. Like I said though, there was some fun parts about this episode. I can't really ever complain about a montage using the opening theme, even if this one was on the slightly ridiculous side. Chloe and her family freaking out during the electricity stunt was funny, and Grookey's lack of commitment throughout the episode was amusing as well. Grookey just does what it wants, doesn't it? But yeah, you guys know me, I'm rarely down on an episode of Pokémon Journeys, so I really didn't want to give this episode a 4 out of 10, but I just didn't like this one personally. I'm curious to hear what your ratings would be for this episode, so let me know down in the comments. So I already began this video with most of the highlights of the preview for next week, and wow, this episode is going to be jam-packed with stuff going on. That's probably the unfortunate thing about it though. I mean, this feels like it could easily be like 3 different episodes, but we're just making it a one-off instead. Ash reuniting with his old Pokemon is going to be really cool, although I feel like we'll spend about as much time with them as Ash did with his Alola squad back in episode 37. As for Gary, okay, I actually had a really funny reaction to Gary returning. I didn't realize going into this preview that I had never heard Gary's Japanese voice actor before. I've only ever heard Gary speak in the dub, and this is not what I expected him to sound like at all. His dubbed voice is like the perfect douchey and grating rival sounding voice, but his original voice is much more soft spoken. I actually had to do a double take before I realized that it was Gary speaking. Anyways, you guys already know I'm so hyped for Infernape to return. I can't believe how lucky I am that the one Pokemon of Ash's that's getting especially highlighted in this episode is my favorite Pokemon, and then there's going to be what I'm assuming is a raid battle against Moltres. I know basically nothing about what's going to happen other than what this preview showed, which wasn't really a lot, so I'm just assuming that the first half of the episode is going to be setting up Ash returning to Oak's lab, reuniting with his old Pokemon, and then Gary, and then the second half of the episode will be dedicated to the battle against Moltres. Ash, Go, and Gary are going to have a pretty stacked squad fighting against Moltres, and like I predicted back when this episode was first teased in that special preview, I think we could be getting a repeat of this in the next episode. Yeah, I actually think Go is about to catch his second legendary. It is a bold prediction, but I feel like it's totally possible. The title for next week mentions something about Go's rival. I'm not sure if that's meant to be Gary, or if one of those new characters from the Project Mew trailer is going to show up and establish themselves as Go's rival. Like I've said in the past, I'm totally unspoiled when it comes to stuff like that. I don't read upcoming episode titles, summaries, or voice actor lists, so don't leave any comments about any potential spoilers, please. If you want a place to discuss those, I have a dedicated section of my Discord server, which you can join using the link in the description. And you can talk about all the spoilery stuff over there until your heart's content, because I really don't check that specific part of the server. In general though, everyone over on my Discord server is super hyped about what's to come in Pokemon Journeys, so come and join in on the discussion if you feel like you want to talk about it with some other fans. I'll leave it there for now. I am pumped about everything that's about to happen next week. Will it be rushed? Yes, but that's fine. It's still going to be a really fun episode. It just won't be a perfect 10 out of 10. Or maybe it will, who knows. We checked one tile off the bingo card this week, and we may get a few more in the next episode, so let's just see what happens. Thanks so much for watching this video, and let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comments. Be sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.